Here's 5 best ETFs for monthly dividends, and it's not JEPQ or JEPI. If you don't have enough time in the day to maybe do a side hustle or work more hours at your job for more money and income, dividend investing is an amazing way to generate passive income without having to lift a finger, because you're letting your dividend stocks, or in this case dividend ETFs, do all the hard work for you. Now, receiving dividends is amazing, but having monthly dividends flow into your investment account is even better. And with this extra income from dividends, you could pay for things that maybe you couldn't have done before, like your rent, maybe help with credit card payments, your car bill, that dream vacation, or the best thing you could do is just reinvest that money back into your dividend portfolio to earn even more dividends in the future from the dividend snowball effect. Now, 2 of the best ETFs and the most popular ETFs for high monthly dividends that seemingly rank in the top of everybody's dividend ETF list and have basically pioneered this new and strong wave of dividend investing for monthly dividends while still having some good long-term capital appreciation potential are the duo of JEPQ, the JP Morgan Nasdaq Equity Premium Income ETF, and JEPI, the JP Morgan Equity Premium Income ETF. Now, we don't want to dig into the weeds of these ETFs because you already know how awesome and amazing they are, from high income or high dividend yields, good capital appreciation, as well as diversification from its high quality basket of stocks. How JEPQ and JEPI are able to generate large dividends while still having some good capital appreciation potential is because they're based off a covered call strategy. Now, you might be wondering, what the heck is a covered call strategy? Well, I got you covered. A covered call basically holds a portfolio of stocks and then sells or writes call options on the stocks in the ETF. The result is this generates premiums which are then distributed to investors as income, in this case high income and limited upside potential. Besides JEPQ and JEPI absolutely crushing the high dividend monthly ETF category, I might have found 5 ETFs that are as good, if not better, than both JEPQ and JEPI. All 5 of the ETFs in this video have no NAV erosion, some are more tax efficient, offering higher dividend yields potentially, and a more stable income as well as better growth potential. Why I'm not including either JEPQ or JEPI is because they potentially become too popular or too Hollywood, as some might say. But seriously, they're great ETFs, and all the ETFs on this list are great as well. Like always, I'm going to provide a full and complete breakdown of each ETF, so without further ado, let's get started. The first ETF is JEPIQ, the Goldman Sachs Nasdaq 100 Core Premium Income ETF. JEPIQ's objective is to provide current income while also maintaining the ability for capital appreciation. 3 reasons to consider investing in JEPIQ is consistent monthly distributions. Unlike other high dividend ETFs that pay their dividends in a very volatile and unpredictable manner, JEPIQ manages to keep its income more consistent, which is great for retirees or those wanting to live off of dividends at some point. JEPIQ also provides core equity exposure with lower volatility. It does this by investing in the Nasdaq 100 index and dynamically sells call options, allowing for participation with rising markets and potential outperformance in negative to flat markets. And the last reason is this ETF allows for a diversifying source of income. JEPIQ has a dividend yield of just under 10%, and it even has a net expense ratio of just 0.29%. JEPIQ's holdings are based on the tech-heavy Nasdaq 100 index and includes 110 stocks and those broad range of sectors besides technology for the added benefit of diversification. Some of its top holdings are ones that you know and love, like Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, Broadcom, and Meta. JEPIQ hasn't been around for too long, but it still has some great performance figures. Taking a look over the last 3 years comparing JEPIQ, JEPQ, and JEPI, despite JEPIQ missing quite a bit of time, it's still been able to keep up with the total returns of JEPQ and even outperformed JEPI. However, over the last year, the story has completely changed. JEPIQ actually managed to outperform and crush both JEPI and JEPQ, which is quite impressive. This ETF means business because it has a consistent stream of high dividend income, a low expense ratio, and of course great returns to keep on your radar. The second ETF is JEPIX, the Goldman Sachs S&P 500 Core Premium Income ETF. JEPIX provides current income while also having the ability for capital appreciation as well. 3 reasons to consider investing in JEPIX is it provides consistent monthly income. Goldman Sachs seems to have consistent monthly income payments down to a science. JEPIX provides core equity exposure with lower volatility. It invests in the S&P 500 index and sells call options on this index to provide income and capital appreciation. The third reason to invest in JEPIX is yet another diversifying source of income to your portfolio. JEPIX has a dividend yield of just over 8% and an expense ratio of just 0.29% as well. Some of its top holdings are high quality stocks like Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, and Broadcom, with its top sectors being technology, financials, consumer discretionary, and healthcare. JEPIX hasn't been around for too long, but it still has some great performance metrics. Taking a look over the last 3 years comparing JEPIX, JEPQ, and JEPI, despite JEPIX missing some time, it's still been able to keep up with the total returns of JEPQ and even outperform JEPI. And over the last year, JEPIX managed to outperform JEPI and just nearly missed the mark of beating JEPQ, which is still quite impressive. This ETF is no slouch. It has a low expense ratio, a high dividend yield, consistent income, solid returns, and just one to keep on your radar as well. The third ETF is SPY-I NEOS S&P 500 High Income ETF. SPY-I's objective is to provide high monthly income in a tax-efficient manner with the potential for upside appreciation in rising equity markets. The 3 targeted benefits of SPY-I's strategy are high monthly income from investing in the S&P 500 index. It's actively managed as the fund takes advantage of tax loss harvesting opportunities. And lastly, the fund utilizes a covered call option strategy that may include both sold and purchased SPX index options, which may provide the opportunity for upside capture in rising equity markets. SPY-I has a dividend yield of 12% and an expense ratio of 0.68%. SPY-I's holdings are based on the S&P 500 index and includes 511 stocks with similar sector allocations to the S&P 500, of course. SPY-I has had solid performance with a tiny bit of missing data. Taking a look over the last 3 years comparing SPY-I, JEPI, and JEPQ, SPY-I has crushed its comparable ETF of JEPI while just trailing and underperforming JEPQ. And over the last year, the same is true of SPY-I beating JEPI and getting just outperformed by JEPQ for second place, which is okay. Even though this ETF has a higher dividend yield, it still has a very tax-efficient manner of distributing its dividends. It has a very consistent stream of income payments to investors and no NAV erosion, which is always a plus. The fourth ETF is QQQI NEOS Nasdaq 100 High Income ETF. QQQI's objective is to provide consistent monthly income in a tax-efficient manner, as well as the potential for capital appreciation in rising equity markets. 3 targeted benefits of QQQI's strategy are high monthly income, it's actively managed and has tax loss harvesting opportunities that may include both sold and purchased NDX options, which may provide the opportunity for upside potential. QQQI has a dividend yield of 14%, which is just insane, coupled with an expense ratio of 0.68% as well. QQQI's holdings are based on the Nasdaq 100 index and includes 107 stocks, with its sectors being very similar to the tech-heavy Nasdaq 100 index. QQQI is more of a newer ETF like all the ETFs in this video, so take it with a grain of salt, but it still had some great returns along the way. Taking a quick glance over the last 3 years comparing all 3 of the ETFs of QQQI, JEPQ, and JEPI, there's quite a bit of data missing for QQQI, but it's still been able to keep up with both JEPQ and JEPI. However, with a full year of returns and data, the story has changed as QQQI comes out on top, outperforming both JEPQ and JEPI, which is just phenomenal. Once again, this ETF, despite it having more of a higher dividend yield, it still has no NAV erosion, a great consistent stream of income. It also has a tax-efficient manner of paying its dividends, and of course, upside potential as well. The fifth ETF is iSpy ProShares S&P 500 High Income ETF. iSpy's goal is to target high income and S&P 500 returns over the long term, all in one convenient ETF. Why iSpy? Well, they allow for high income potential by selling call options each day. Next is efficient income generation potential, and lastly, higher return potential as they seek to capture returns that monthly covered call strategies may sacrifice, which is pretty cool. iSpy has a dividend yield of around 9% and an expense ratio of 0.55% as well. iSpy's holdings are based on the S&P 500 index, which includes 503 stocks, with its sector allocations being obviously similar to the diversified S&P 500 index. There's quite a bit of data missing for iSpy, but it's still been able to keep up with both JEPQ and JEPI over the last 3 years. However, with a full year of returns and performance metrics, the script has changed as iSpy comes out on top, outperforming JEPI and just trailing an underperforming JEPQ. iSpy is a great ETF. It has a higher dividend yield than most ETFs, as well as the potential to actually allow for more upside potential than most covered call ETFs, which is pretty cool if you ask me. As always, check out the link in the description of this video to download Blossom, a free investing app. On Blossom, you can see my entire ETF portfolio. Whenever I buy ETFs, my investing journey, you can give me a follow on Blossom and I will give you a free follow back. Ask me any questions there on Blossom about ETFs. I'd love to see you there. I will see you on Blossom. Now, if you guys like this video, please give it a like because this cute puppy did. Now, if you guys want to see other best ETFs that pay monthly dividends, check out this video right here. And if you guys want to see other best ETFs that pay weekly dividends, check out this video right here. I love you guys so much. Continue to crush in the stock market and take it easy. Peace.